Hello everybody and welcome back to yet another weight loss vlog. So my name is Sarah. I'm on a journey to lose a total of 80 pounds, but I've already lost, drumroll please, 15. If you're a returning viewer, you might remember that little fiasco I had with my scale because my scale was saying that I had lost like 13-ish pounds, but then I went to the doctor and the doctor was like, oh my god, you're doing so good, you've lost 8 pounds. And I was like, 8? I bought a new scale and I've been weighing myself consistently in the morning before I eat anything on a hard surface. I'm like following all the advice about weighing yourself, and since December 1st or 4th, I have lost a total of 16 pounds really. So that's very exciting and I'm very happy about that. I'm just gonna feel myself a little bit on that one. Today's video is a bit of a different pace. I don't have the traditional vlog that I usually would do, although I'm beginning to feel that my usual is becoming these sit down chatty sessions, so maybe this is the new normal. What I want to talk about today is a mental health update because it has been very, very relevant to my life, to my weight loss, and it also explains a little bit about where I've been. So before this upload, which I think I've gone now 9 or 10 days since my last upload, I had been uploading every 3 to 4, I think. It was almost twice a week if I'm remembering correctly. And honestly, I was really excited about that frequency. I felt happy and challenged, but at the same time able to do it, which was a good blend for me. And I was producing it so much faster than ever before, and I was doing it consistently for a good I don't even know what, 4 or 5 weeks maybe? Someone's gonna have to fact check that because I might be giving myself way too much credit, and I'm sorry if I accidentally am, but I feel like it was a good streak for a while, and then unfortunately I just broke the streak recently. But my reason for not uploading ties into today's topic, which like I said is my mental health. Where to even begin? I ended up writing down a little bullet point list of the order that I want to talk about things, hopefully so that I don't tangent as much as I usually do. So this should help keep me on track and hopefully keep things relevant to weight loss and to the channel. So sit back, relax, get comfy, get yourself some tea, some wine, some water. I don't judge, it is your life, and let's get chatty. I will spare you the whole life story or my whole psychiatric history, but I will just give you a kind of overarching summary of my symptoms and how things have been changing with my diagnoses and different psychiatrists that I have seen. I think it's pretty obvious to everybody that I've ever had as a doctor or had as a friend. Maybe even you have noticed this too, but I do have my fair share of anxiety. But anywho, so I have social anxiety, I have anxiety. In the past, when I was 18 years old, I was diagnosed with ADHD, and I was prescribed different medications for it, basically the ones you would typically think of, the generic and the on-brand of Adderall, Ritalin, stuff like that. But the problem that I kept seeing with it was my migraines and my headaches would be so awful. It was a 50-50 shot every time that I would take one of those meds that either that day or the following day I would have debilitating headaches. So for that reason, we kept testing around with different brands, different dosages, different extended versus instant relief and stuff like that, but unfortunately I could never find anything that really worked for me most of the time. The other piece of my mental puzzle here is my moods, and specifically what I would explain typically is I experience more severe highs and lows than most people. You may think that that would therefore mean that I would have bipolar disorder, and I technically don't. I have the umbrella disorder, mood disorder not otherwise specified, which I believe is no longer a thing in the DSM or the diagnostic material that the book that doctors use to pick out or to not pick out, to determine which mental illness someone has. I don't think that MDNOS, mood disorder not otherwise specified, is even in the book anymore. But what it used to be, from my understanding, was like the umbrella diagnosis that something like bipolar disorder, bipolar 1, bipolar 2, major depressive disorder, these things would fit underneath. But my symptoms were scattered all over the place, so I didn't neatly fit into one of those categories. Instead, I was in the umbrella mood disorder not otherwise specified category. Then, in December of 2023, I met with a brand new psychiatrist because I hadn't seen a psychiatrist in like 2 or 3 years, and I think that the old one, the one that diagnosed me with ADHD and everything else, I think that she retired or something happened to her. But she was no longer at the counseling, the psychiatry place that I usually would have gone to, but I also moved, so I was in a different part of town. I hadn't been to a psychiatrist in a while. I also kind of wanted a second opinion, like, not that I doubted anything that I had been diagnosed with before, I just like, I don't know, something in my head was like, ooh, I don't want to sound, I wouldn't say this about anyone else, so it's kind of weird that like I think this about myself, but like part of me was like, make sure that this is legit, which is shitty. Like that's a really shitty thing to like think and say about yourself. But honestly, like that's where my mind was. And like I knew that I had issue, I knew that I still had a problem, because even though I hadn't seen a psychiatrist, I had seen my general like family physician, and she had put me back on Abilify, which is an antipsychotic that I was prescribed initially in like 2015 for my moods because of the up and down and everywhere that I would go. So I got put back on Abilify by a general family doctor, not a psychiatrist, not a specialist, but by my general family physician, who put me on Abilify for like 2 milligrams, which really didn't do a whole lot. But that was because at that time in my life 2 years ago, everything was kind of going to shit and I needed intervention. She also ended up putting me on like Seroquel to help me fall asleep, because I was like not sleeping. There was like this whole thing with my family and my mom cheating, and like my dad might not be my dad, and like my best friend moving away, my sister moving away, and all the etceteras you could ever think of. So like that in a nutshell is why I saw her again. But anyways, I was trying to not do the whole life story. Forgot. Let me stick to my script here. Okay, so yes, December psych appointment. We went through this whole questionnaire, this like whole thing from the very beginning, my genesis, my you know, the very, very start of everything. And so I answered a ton of questions. It took so long, whatever. At the end of the appointment, she tells me, she hit me with a surprise, okay? So she tells me that she agrees with anxiety. Duh. She agrees with anxiety for a diagnosis and said social anxiety, and I'm like, that tracks. And then she said that she had a question mark on ADHD, that she wasn't totally sure about my ADHD diagnosis, and that it was a question mark for her. And then she tells me that she wonders if things might be personality related. Like, I took this as maybe I don't have mood disorder, maybe I have like a personality disorder. That was a little bit interesting to hear. Oh, and if you're curious, the specific one that she mentioned was psychotic personality, which I have looked up in the past. I don't remember. I'm sorry. I would say like my memory is bad, but like I also think I'm just not as smart as I used to be. And I don't remember how much I agreed with it, because there was stuff, if I'm remembering correctly, there was stuff on there like hallucinations, and I'm like, I've never had that before. So I don't know, but it was like, I think that's like her working, like she is still trying to figure me out. She's still trying to like pin everything down. So she's still ironing out diagnoses. But the thing that surprised me the most is maybe no ADHD. I was like, what? Oh, and the other thing she said is that meds for ADHD might have exacerbated or made worse my symptoms, my other symptoms. And I was like, oh, shit. Then leaving that session, I was put on 10 milligrams of Abilify, or Epiprazole is the other name for it. So that antipsychotic that I had been on previously, we bumped up to 10. And holy crap, I was like, I still am like totally bodied by that. Abilify, like, if I have it just by itself, it's so hard. Like, I will take it because I know I need to and I know I need it, and I don't mess with like missing a dose anymore because I have made that mistake before and I don't want to go through that. So I will be compliant and I will take my medication for Abilify or Proprazole, but when I am on just that med, it's kind of awful. Like, it's awful in a different way. It is technically better than me being completely off meds, because that just is like not a good idea. But when I'm on it, I kid you not, I could sleep, and I have historically slept for like 12 hours. So typically what adults need, like 7 to 8, no, it's like 12 to 14 for me. And then when I am awake, I am extremely tired still. I like don't have any like go in me. Like, I feel like very apathetic, I would say. I feel, again, like I can't explain enough the fatigue, the extreme exhaustion. Like, it just so weighs you down. So because I was struggling with that issue while on Abilify by itself, she decided after our next appointment, which I think was just like maybe a month or two ago, so in February or March or something like that, she added bupropion, otherwise known as Wellbutrin. And that had been working. The only thing with it is I got a little bit stupid. And I like, okay, so I started Wellbutrin and I was taking it very compliant. Like, I think I was at 20, or I forget the increment or the number, the dosage that it technically is. I want to say it was like 200 or 20, I don't remember, but it was in the twos. I was in the twos for Wellbutrin and I was taking it. And I noticed that sometimes it made me like nervous. Like, it just kind of like upped my anxiety, I guess I would say. But it was like a very intense feeling, but only for a short moment, not like a prolonged anxiety. And then I told her about that and how it was making me nervous. It was the words that I used to describe it. And she cut it in half. So now I've been on the 1. And then my anxiety and nervousness got really, really bad. So me, the idiot, the pretty one, I stopped taking it entirely. So sorry about that. And I am still recovering from that because it has made my anxiety horrible. My ability to like do anything is so low. Like, I am so overwhelmed by nothing, by like absolutely nothing. And like things that I like doing, like, I swear I'm gonna sound so pathetic, but it's like the only thing that I can get myself to consistently do and enjoy is play The Sims 2. Other things like YouTube, like stuff that I even like doing or would typically like doing, I couldn't do because I was like, I was getting so in my head because YouTube is fun for me, although there is a little bit of pressure that I put on myself to perform or like to like have my videos do well, have my videos perform well. So I still try when I make these videos, I still try in my editing, I still try when I turn on the camera. I want to do a good job, and there's like a little bit of stress that usually comes along with like being a perfectionist and then doing any hobby, because you want to like be the best at it, you want to like perform well, you want it to do well, you don't want it to feel like it was all for nothing. So I have a little bit of that pressure that I put on myself that I typically can like fight, that I typically can work through, because I understand like in a sane mind that like it's still better to put out a crappy low effort video or like something that I'm not feeling 100% on because at least I'm still uploading, than like have my fear of never feeling like I'm doing a good enough job prevent me from ever like trying in the first place, because that's where I think anxiety and perfectionism goes too far. Like if it's stopping you from even starting something, from even trying, that is dumb. That is like your mind like lying to you. Like that is your mind just being dumb. And sorry that I'm saying your, and if you don't like that, if you don't like me talking to you like that, I respect that. I'm more so talking about myself, and I'm saying my mind is being dumb because like it's just frustrating. And this is where this is where the title of the video comes from, about like me feeling like I can never do enough, and me fearing that when I do stuff, it's never going to be good enough. It's never going to be worth it. And I've been really, really, really struggling with that lately. It's not just YouTube either. Like it's also been, what's another thing that I usually like to do? Like, that's not The Sims. Like writing, like me wanting to like continue writing a novel and things like that. Like like, yes, it always is going to take a little bit of effort, but it's a hobby at the end of the day. Like it's nothing that I'm supposed to be a professional at. It's nothing that's supposed to be that high stakes. Like I spend some money to be able to do the hobby, but it's because I enjoy it enough at the end of the day to make the work worth it. I'm satisfied enough by the end result to see everything as worth it. But lately, it's been like nothing is good enough. Like I can't do enough. And the way that this is kind of tied into my weight loss too is, and I really, really have to be careful about this. Like I have fallen down this path before where I lose some weight and I'm doing really well, which is true. As I told you, I've lost 16 pounds now. Like that's crazy good. That's really impressive. That's really nice. That's the right direction. I make this progress. I have these accomplishments. And then I look at the bigger picture and I go, but oh my God, I have so far left to go. Like, and I'm trigger warning for like body image issues. I'll put a timestamp to where you can skip ahead. But this is it. When I look in the mirror, I'm like, I hate saying this and I hate feeling this. I hate thinking this. Like it's such a negative, nasty thought. But like I'll look in the mirror or I'll play back footage when I'm editing, and then this like gross voice in my head will be like, you lost 16 pounds, but like you're still like so insert word. Like you still have so far left to go. Like basically like you put forth all this effort, you did all of this and you're still fat. And that's really tough to sit with. Like that's a really, really difficult like feeling to go through, because it's like, when am I going to look in the mirror and not think that? Like I don't have a number, and I don't think I should, and more so, like I don't think I should need one. It's more of an issue of like, well, you shouldn't be thinking that stuff to yourself. You shouldn't be talking about yourself like that. And it's tough because it's like, I have to be my best friend. Like I have to live with myself the most at the end of the day. Like when it's, what time is it? Like 2:30 in the morning, when it's 3 in the morning and it's my night off and I just have myself to entertain me and to live with. Like how nice am I to myself? Like how is my relationship with myself? Because lately it's felt like crap. It's felt like I can't do enough. I can't do anything good enough. I don't do anything right. Like that's how I've been like making myself feel lately, or that's just how I felt lately. And it's so tricky, and it's like I'm trying to like figure out a way that I could think about my progress so far in a more positive light, because it feels like right now, I don't know if it's just because my mindset has been really negative lately, but right now it just like, it highlights how much more I have to do, how much further I have yet to go. And that's why this is a mental health update, because my mental health has been in the crapper. I don't have an ending. I don't know what more to say. I don't know what more to do. I feel like I've made a little bit of progress in recognizing that that negative thought that I had is not helpful and it's hurtful and it doesn't benefit me in any way to have a thought like that. And I'm still kind of workshopping in my head how to talk to myself kinder, or like what to think instead of a thought like that. Like, I'm trying so hard to be positive and optimistic when it just feels like I have so much left that I have yet to accomplish. And that sucks because it's gonna be a long journey no matter what, and me like dreading it is just going to set me up for failure. Like, I honestly, there's no way I'm gonna stick to something if I'm hating every second of it. You know what I mean? But anyways, now that I've said all that, now that all of that is out there for the world to see, let me just thank you for listening and for watching this video. I deeply appreciate anyone who cares about me, which is like crazy to think that my reach has expanded beyond my immediate circle and that through YouTube I've been able to connect with people across the world. And that's really awesome. And speaking of which, oh my God, I'm so happy that I remember this. If I can like share any little bit of positivity, any little like, you know, lovey-doveyness to go around at the end of this sad update, let me just give a couple shout outs, and trust me, you want to listen to this because these creators are awesome, are amazing, and if you like my content, you're gonna love them. In no particular order. Let's just start with Cheryl Does Fitness. She is, if I'm saying this right, like an acro yoga gal, and she does, I believe it's called calisthenics. Check out her channel. Her channel is Cheryl Does Fitness. I've also seen her as like Fuchs in Motion, so you could try probably looking up either, actually no, don't bother looking it up. I will link her. I will link her in the description so you can check out her videos. Another awesome creator is Victoria. I think that you say her name like as if you had the R speech impediment, like instead of Victoria, it's Victoria. I think. Anyways, her videos are really, really great. She does vlog style content like me. She has a weekly vlog and she's also trying to lose weight. She calls hers the real weight loss journey, so definitely check her out. And then finally, last but not least, is Mady Does What She Wants. She has PCOS and is on a journey to lose weight in order to have a baby, which is awesome. I think that all four of us are in like different kind of parts of our lives, so if you can collect all four, all the better. So shout out to those three. I will definitely leave all of their stuff linked down in the description. You know what, let me actually pin a comment. I'll make it even easier. I'm gonna pin a comment and put their channels there so you can check them out. And thank you so much again for watching, for listening, for being here for me. I appreciate you a ton, and I will see you next time. Toodles!